and waited, and it was only as they got sleepy that they decided that they would lay inside of their hammocks. And when they lay asleep, the darkness wrapped itself about them, and they had dreams. The first of their dreams in the darkness of the night. And they slept, and they slept, and they slept. And when they awoke the next day, they discovered that the roofs of the houses had all collapsed. The crops had grown and rotted. The houses were overgrown. The kitchens were filled with weeds, and the tapir's night had been too long. They had to replant the crops. They had to go and catch all of their cattle. They had to go out and remake their boats so that they could go out fishing. The tapir's night had been far too long. The boy, Cochipil, had found a mouse's night. The men had found the tapir's night, which was too long. And now it was Neva. She decided that she would go out, and she would try and find a night that was not too short or too long. She would find a night that would be just right. So the tapir's night had been a disaster. It had been too long. All of the crops had failed, and it was Neva, as she was trying to dig out her kitchen and find all of her pots and pans, that she decided that she would find a night that was just the right length. Cochipil had found a mouse's night, and it was too quick. The hunters had found the tapir's night, and it was too long. But she, as a woman, was going to go out and find a night that would be not too short and not too long. And she announced, she stood in the middle of the village and said, "I, as a woman, am going to find a night that will be not too long or too short." Some of the men laughed at her. Cochipil had wished that his night had been longer, but she decided that she would go to the middle of the thickest part of the forest, where some shadows would lie, and perhaps there she would find an animal that would have a night that was neither too short nor too long. And in one of the parts of the forest that she had never been to before, she looked and she saw that there was a small, round, hard ball. And she knew exactly who it was. It was Tattoo, the armadillo. She spoke softly, with a voice as sweet as honey. "Tattoo, Tattoo, please wake up." But Tattoo was no fool, and did not move 1 inch. "Tattoo, Tattoo, please wake up. Tattoo, Tattoo, please wake up." Now she was a woman with womanly wiles, and she went over to Tattoo, and she scratched in between the hard armoured bands of his skin and started to tickle him. And there is no one who can resist. And she kept on tickling and kept on tickling at Tattoo's skin until he could stand it no more. And he poked out his short, sharp snout. "What is it that you want, woman?" "Oh, Tattoo," said Neva. "Tattoo, I would wish for you to lend me your night." Tattoo did not want to lose his night, and so he looked and said, "What is it that would be in this deal for me?" "Oh, Tattoo," and now she stroked at his hard-armoured skin. "Tattoo, Tattoo, I would make sure that for all of time you would always have the scraps of food from the kitchen, and they would be yours forever and always." Now, at the thought of food, Tattoo uncurled himself. "Well, woman, I shall lend you my night, but only for one night." "Oh, I promise," said Neva. "I do promise. You shall only have to give me one night. Then I would not be too tired. Then the men would know when to go to work and when to sleep. Just one night. I promise." It was truly the thought of all of that food that allowed Tattoo to resist his God. And the night started to creep about the world, and the sun started to set. The sun hid in the darkness behind the clouds, and the dark was good, and it was a good night. The men decided that they would only light their fires and talk and smoke for a short time, for they had learned from the mouse's night that it may only be for a short time. And they lay in their hammocks and they dreamed dreams of from so long ago, and the night was good. But the next day, when the darkness had gone and the dawn had broken, and the men had had a good sleep, and everyone was rested, and the women didn't have to do so much work and cook and clean right through the night, the men, when they found out that Neva had promised Tattoo that she would give the night back, they refused. They said that they would keep it for now, forever, and for all time. Neva had promised, but the men refused. They broke that promise. They kept the night, and they never gave it back. And now you may find that there will be an armadillo at the kitchen door in the darkness of night, waiting for the scraps of food that it was promised, as it will scratch upon the ground. And it will sleep during the day and try and steal back the night that was stolen from it.